something, 6th in Chicago. Heading over to the org. I know that I haven't been as active lately, just a lot of stuff going on in life, real world stuff. Folks, remember, I'm not retired, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I have to make sure that I can make family or ends meet, and I've got my family obligations I need to take care of, but I appreciate that you're all here when we're out and ready to demonstrate and expose the cult of Scientology. We're probably about 4 blocks away, so we'll head over there. I will say that we had an election. We have a president-elect, a new president-elect. Half the country's probably happy, half the country's probably sad. I've always said this, that you never want to root against the pilot of your aircraft. So now that we're here, let's make sure that we're supporting the country. Hopefully everybody involved in this will be supporting the country as well. What else do we have? I've been playing around a little bit with editing. Howdy, J-Bat. Howdy, Ann. It is cool here in Chicago. We've had rain for the last 2 days. No rain today, but it's overcast and it's been maybe a high of 50. I'm over in kind of the financial district. Oh yeah, we lost some facial hair recently. So now I can swim faster, I think. Although I haven't shaved my legs, so no idea on that. I'm kind of just scanning around here. We know that, well, not we know, we have not seen any evidence that they've been recruiting anywhere near the org. This is a pretty heavily trafficked corridor. If I turn you around, right, it's what, 3:30 here in the afternoon. We're seeing plenty of people heading westward towards the train station from their downtown offices. Remember, we probably don't have 100% capacity on return to office. So, while not all the office buildings are full, this is the start of the time when they'll start heading towards their trains to get back home. We're going to head over to Clark Street. I'm not seeing any evidence of body routers out here. A lot of activity in LA this past week, right? We saw Kelly just had Kelly, DOA, MD Media, Michael, Serge, Laura was likely there as well. You know, there was plenty of channels broadcasting it, but we saw a child in real time, 2 children in real time, trying to escape Scientology or fleeing Scientology parents. So there's this, that's very, it's very troubling for the children involved, right? But one thing it does do is it brings to light the idea that we're not just a bunch of demonstrators making up stories. This actually happened. It was caught in real time. Kudos to those that were out there documenting it. And for those of you that don't believe that Scientology is a cult and that Scientology does do human trafficking and child abuse, we saw 2 children in fear of their lives running from their home, going to a neighbor, knocking on the door. I think the neighbor was a stranger. We heard the neighbor say there was no way in the world that he was going to release those kids back to anybody in Scientology or the 2 Scientology guards. So kudos to him for having the insight that those kids were in trouble, and releasing them back to Scientology would have been problematic. Now, the best I can tell, the police probably did release them back to the parents. We're just a couple blocks north of the org. This is the bodega that DOA first saw the Way to Happiness flyers in. I'll peek in there. I haven't seen flyers really since that day or that weekend, right? They were there the next day. I went in and asked them no longer to put them in there, and I'm looking at the counter there. There's nothing on the counter anymore. That doesn't mean that they haven't put the flyers back out. It means that they don't have them out right now, right? Yeah, and that was really, again, very troubling. Please don't call the police, knowing that the police were just going to send them back. And then Kelly was on Nora. Boy, Nora kept Kelly up quite late that night. But to Nora's point, those kids, having been sent back, are now going to be punished for that and be guilted into the idea of, look at all of the shame that you brought on Scientology, right? Oh my gosh, you went outside the family. And I know that Scientology is not a family, but that's kind of the mafiosa or the Godfather, right? Never tell anybody outside the family what's going on in the family. This light can be a little bit lengthy. We'll hang out here for a second. Here in the States, I'm guessing most people were up fairly late last night, or a lot of people would have been up late last night trying to figure out what was going on with the election. Howdy, Style Audit. Good to see you. We'll head past the immigration courthouse real quick. With all the fun lately, I think that we have another storm headed towards probably headed to Florida, but coming out of the Caribbean. Very odd to have a November storm, but things happen. Hopefully nothing bad comes of that. I'm scanning these flower pots here just to see if there is any discarded Scientology material in there. As I look ahead, I can't quite see to the org yet. Looking across the street, there's some folks there that are doing their CrossFit running. Oh, here we have a Scientologist coming down the sidewalk. So the woman with the cane, she is Scientology. I don't know if I've ever seen her in a staff uniform. I've seen her inside the org in civilian clothes very consistently, or quite often. And let me kind of go over that. You don't see publics being here consistently, right? You'll see people that have been here often, but they don't come on a daily basis, they don't come on a weekly basis. Or at least they're not caught on camera on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. I feel underdressed for today. My hands are already getting a little chilly. From here, I can see the sandwich board for Paisans. I don't see any other sandwich boards out there, so it doesn't look like Scientology's got anything out on the sidewalk. Not sure if we've had other protesters here today or any other activists, demonstrators here today. Howdy, Bridge. You probably know better than us. It looks like you guys might have another storm headed your way. Coming past Pat Pizza, nobody in there. Nobody in the Subway. Not seeing anybody in the Dunkin'. We definitely have the front door open. We'll see if the shades are up. Yep, they do have the shades up. Nothing really being seen here. We've seen this one recently. Oh, got a couple of Publix in here. So we saw the, oh, definitely gonna have to talk to this gentleman. We'll see if they, if he comes out, I'll talk to them. There's actually quite a few staff in here today. I'm kind of just looking to see. Thank you. Just, you know, it's a cult. All right. Just, you know, that's a cult, right? That's the cult of Scientology that you were just inside of, right?
I know.
Thank you. I saw you threw that out.
I just went for a bathroom.
Okay.
And they just gave me
yeah.
like,
everything. All right. Thank you. She just had to go to the restroom. But yeah, we're seeing that they're closing the blinds. The gentleman that walked in with Chad yesterday is over in the cafeteria, right? Chad was trying to make the joke that there's, and it's still here, right? You see the Chad had asked me where my baby was, complaining that, or inferring that I was a little baby and that I lost my baby. On the night after, we're talking to them about children having escaped Scientology and being sent back to the org. Did you see the children that escaped in the Pac base in Scientology last weekend? Nobody really wants to be here. Even the kids know it's not right to be here, right? Don't you feel bad? The kids know better than you. Kind of let the folks come by real quick. Definitely hope that that storm forecast holds up then and it's just a little blowover. No problem if it actually just misses forward altogether. I know that you guys, as Bridget mentioned, right, the back-to-backs, just no fun. And trying to find the high ground in California is, or in Florida is rather challenging, right? We did see an older gentleman kind of come out of the cafeteria. Well, I can kind of see in here. There's a staff member who kind of put a park on and she wants to come out. I didn't go past the back. Yes. Scientology propaganda is nothing but a crap sandwich. Yeah, we'll say that, again, we kind of opened up the stream and, you know, mostly irrelevant to anybody's political beliefs. I'm sure that half of the country is incredibly miserable right now, and half of the country is incredibly happy right now. Just hope that in whatever way possible, we all figure out a way to make sure the country moves forward. Wait, J-Bat, does that mean I can go vertical now? I'm kind of looking back every once in a while just to see if anybody else comes out of the org, and we're not seeing anybody come out of the org. We'll go look in the alley. Not expecting much activity. All right, so another vote against vertical. I see somebody in the alley, but they're up here by the residences. Yeah, so there's nothing going on down the alley. Kind of open that up for you, right? So no real activity here in the alley. We were able to get the blinds closed. We saw somebody come out. Even before I engaged them, I'm pretty sure you saw that they put their flyer straight into the dumpster. So she went into, she had to use the restroom, and Scientology let her in to use the restroom, which, by the way, I was surprised. There are so few places here in the city that you can actually use a public restroom that I was surprised that Scientology would allow for that. Now, granted, it's a marketing opportunity, but we're going to head over to Dearborn. Again, it's been a while since I've seen anybody in the neighborhood trying to pass out flyers. Is that because of me? Yeah, I could be arrogant and say maybe. It's because of all of the protests that have gone on here. And also, I think that they're down on labor. That there are several people, if you look at the thumbnail, there are several people that we just no longer see, right? We haven't seen Anastasia forever. We haven't seen Curly forever. The older woman who does the letter reg that we've talked to a few times, right? She's got the walker. Haven't seen her in a long time. Naturally, we haven't seen Chadwick Burke in quite some time. Kind of looking up and down the streets here, not seeing any uniforms. Yeah, just on the point of safety, right? I know that I'm out here on my own very often. I don't have fear when I'm down here. This is not a neighborhood that I feel that causes me any threat in any way. But I also do have a body camera with me as well at all times. And one of the things you'll notice, while I do take the main camera off bystanders, right, people that aren't involved in this scenario, the body camera oftentimes catches them. It's less intrusive. And sometimes if it is a good conversation, I'll be able to pick up the video off of the body cam. Also, it allows me to get ambient sound. So the mic is well isolated to me, I think. That for the most part, you're hearing just my voice when we're talking on here. And then if I need to hear the other person's conversation, because I have a second mic, but you know that I just concentrate too much on what's going on the street, and I forget to do the right YouTube things and get the second mic out and make sure that I'm getting the other party on the microphone and the other party in camera. So we lose a little bit there. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really even enjoy watching in vertical. And you know, my hope is since day one, we have had just an incredibly cooperative and civilian chat group. So very few times we really had to use mods for purposes other than to help with information. And I really appreciate that from everybody. But like Cubs almost never has a mod. I don't think Cubs has a mod. Several people just don't have mods, but their audience is very civil and there's no real need for them to have a mod. Just gonna go over one more block. There's a residence here where Scientology is at. And just based upon this time of day, they will sometimes be heading over here from the org or heading to the org from here. Yeah, just not seeing anybody. We'll head back over to the org. Make sure those windows are shut. Folks, I've been playing around with another channel fully unrelated to any of this. And it's only shorts, and it's just fun oddities in history, like things that people might not recognize, or similar to the Things You Missed in History Class podcast. Boy, what is the name of that channel? Misguided History, history. And I've just been putting shorts. I've been kind of building up shorts and sending them over there. Totally unrelated to Scientology, but it's just things that I remember from history, or those oddities in history that people don't recall or recollect quite correctly. Today, I think the topic was the history of coffee. Right? Coffee doesn't start in Hawaii, it goes to Hawaii. Started in Ethiopia, had a huge Arabian presence. The Arabs controlled the Asia Minor for the longest time. So anybody doing trade between Europe and Asia were going through there, and that's how coffee makes it up into Europe. For those of you that don't know, Britain used to be a coffee country long before it was a tea country. Heading back over to the org. It's kind of a dreary day out, right? It's been overcast the whole day. I need to look up his channel because I think I have heard that name before. And I do love the odd areas of Chicago, right? Like the idea that when I was in college, I believe, we had the Great Chicago Flood, and it was very odd. Back in that day, there was actually broadcast radio, and we were listening to the radio station, and all of a sudden they're talking about these floods in downtown Chicago. And we're like, what in the world are they talking about? It's the sunniest day in the world out. And what had happened is a barge had hit some pilings, and the pilings caused a penetration into an underground wall, which Chicago has all kinds of underground systems, and the water rushed out of the river into these underground vaults, and hallways and caused flooding. Right. The idea that where Grant Park is wasn't land 150 years ago. It was a lake. The train tracks that run through the middle of Grant Park, those used to be on an elevated track above that waterway. Streeterville was a swamp. That's all water. That's reclaimed land. Just looking upwards, right? All of the blinds are closed from bottom to top. Kind of looking around here, you know, remember this building just opened. The grand opening was March 3rd, right? We remember that they violated the permits, and they really violated the sanity of the college students next door. Kind of made them strangers in their own homes. But the org opened on March 3rd, and you're definitely seeing wear and tear. Like if you look straight ahead of me, that's a hole in the, there's a sticker. This frosted element is a sticker. And so that's being worn away. You can see that the seam there is becoming a little bit eroded. Down here, you're also seeing that the seam is being eroded, it's being torn away. So the building is kind of taking a hit on the wear and tear. I think I'd shown you that the blinds are threadbare on the one side over here already. So if we look in there, I don't know if it's, you can see that because they let it rub on the wall and on that metal siding, that it's become threadbare on the outside. And that's actually something that the protesters have caused, right? The idea when they scramble to bring the shades down, they bring them down faster than they need to, right? They don't bring them down in a controlled manner. Oh, here's our Way to Happiness recruiter. He was the one that tried to do the photo op 2 weeks ago, and we were able to stop them from being in the neighborhood doing that photo op. Were you able to watch the 2 children that escaped the pack base out in California this past week? Even children know not to be in here. Are you a child? Now, he is most likely a staff member more so than a Sea Org member. And one thing is that, right, well, everybody here goes home at night. But maybe he is going to look on YouTube, right, and say, wait, 2 kids escaped Scientology, what's going on? All right. Now, chances are he's newer, so he might not be as all in as the rest of Scientology. He might not have been fully indoctrinated or fully brainwashed. Yeah, thank you, JPAT. Yeah, that is the other channel. And again, it's mostly just interesting shorts on parts of history. The one thing, if you, like this was very common when I was younger, people would often ask, you know, what ruler took the most lives? And I'm trying to work around some words there to be careful on YouTube. And even during World War II, everybody thought it was Hitler. And Stalin was much worse than he was. And then you'll find out that neither one of those was even in the top three. There have been some evil men in history. L. Ron Hubbard and David Miscavige among them, but for different reasons.
Only for better. Bye.
Why are you in there supporting a child trafficking cult?
No, bye. They invite me to a court, that's it.
You're okay with child trafficking and human trafficking? Why is Danny Masterson in prison for 30 years to life and still a member in good standing? He sounded like Ricky Ricardo. FedEx just dragged a crate by. A lot of they're going over to the college dorm. A lot of students getting their housewarming gifts from their parents, I'm guessing. Howdy, Lady E. Did you watch the children who escaped from Scientology in California this past week? 2 kids had to run to a stranger out of fear. It bridged some other odd facts, right? The idea that while it was the meatpacking capital of the world, right, the hog butcher of the world, the stockyards, there are no real stockyards here in Chicago anymore, but all of the places where you see the labeling or the historical district of Stockyard is down on like 39th Street, between 39th Street and 47th Street. And not quite, probably further west than Halstead, maybe Racine. But it was moved to that location. Originally, it was the north shore of the river. So Wolf Point would have been part. Wolf Point are the new buildings right there on the corner where the river splits and goes north and south. But Wolf Point used to be part of the original stockyard. For those of you building civilizations, don't put grazing animals right next to your drinking water, and don't slaughter animals next to your drinking water.
I go back out there and I see it, and it's lodged in my fucking laptop. Wait so long.
So far today we brought the blinds down. We were able to see somebody leaving the org, and when I was able to kind of catch up to them, by the time I caught up to them, they had already thrown their flyer in the dumpster here. as well as saying, hey, I just want to go to the restroom. A lot of people walking around out here. Folks, statewide, we do have a new state's attorney. So the original statewide state's attorney has been voted out of office. I have not seen the results of the Cook County state's attorney. And the reason that would be important is if you're following the Nance Drew case, that we knew that the state's attorney would be up for. Just so you know, it's a cult. It's a cult of Scientology. Es una secta. Es una secta. Dangerous. Money. Seriously, scary. Es una secta. They just want to sell you that book. They do nothing good for the community. Not Christian, no God, no gospel.
Hi, are you Anthony? Okay, are you talking to Kiana?
Yeah.
I'm Jessica. Don't talk to him. Okay? Do you want to come inside so I can show you around?
Ask her why Danny Masterson's in jail for 30 years to life and still a member in good standing.
Like a bully and a-
Look up Danny Masterson. Look up Lisa McPherson.
Hold on, I'll show you.
Lisa McPherson is dead right now. And I hope you didn't realize I was bullying you, right? Look, Honeypot came out. I want to quickly, I didn't have a business card with me when he came out, so I wanted to pull those. I'm pulling those out of the backpack. Strangely, I was not prepared. Yeah, I was going to say that, how do you equate what I'm doing to being a bully, right? Folks, here's the business cards, right? So on the back, it's a scan code to the website, and on the front, you've got xenu.net as well as some information about Scientology. And we've got plenty of proper nouns on there, right? So Lisa McPherson, Ellie Perkins, Serge Del Mar. So that people can, on their own time, go and look about those stories. We're about to see one of the college students who's given me support in the past. How you doing?
Good. What you up to?
Still just protesting. They just was able to bring one person in.
What, did
So-
you brought someone in?
Yeah, they did.
Was
So
it one of ours?
I don't think so. It was somebody that drove up. So,
Okay.
uh,
You think
but
they're offering free food or something? Or like money?
no, they'll tell. Like this weekend, they said they were doing family photo shoots. Now I don't know if they're doing it for free, but even if they were doing it for free, they're going to give you a digital copy probably, which costs them nothing. And the other part is that they need your name and address in order to send it to you.
That's
So they just built a mailing list.
God.
Right?
Okay. All right, I'll keep
Halloween, you saw them with the cotton candy, or they had the candy for the
in mind. I was
kids.
looking for Halloween.
Yeah,
I went back to visit some family. in
nice,
Manhattan.
very nice.
Yeah.
New York or down southwest?
Manhattan.
Okay,
New York.
okay, very nice,
Yeah,
very
got
nice.
some family over there. All right. Well, you
Excellent.
enjoy your time here.
Thank you very much. You have a great day. Bye bye. Got another Scientologist coming up the street. Did you see the two children that escaped Scientology in California this weekend? They ran out, right? They had to go to the neighbors out of fear. I do want to at least hang around until he comes out. Howdy. So a lot of stuff being ordered over at the college. If he does come out, I do have my business cards with me, so I'll be able to hand them off. Now, they might try to send him around back. I don't know how strong his English is. I would guess he was English as a second language. He did have 3 crosses tattooed on his neck, right? And those would have been, right, the hills of Calvary, sorry, where Christ and the 2 thieves were hung or crucified. So he does seem to have somewhat of a Judeo-Christian, and I would say Christian background. You did see that the male that came out to try to pull this person in, he did have his handful of Dianetics flyers. So I'm going to head down to the corner again just to see if we can catch any glimpse of them. Now, it's been a little bit of time. If he hustled out the back door, he would have been out of my sight fairly quickly. I actually have dress shoes on today, and I'm usually uncomfortable running in my dress shoes. Howdy, Fat Grammy. Really appreciate that you've been doing all the work with the city councils, both here in Chicago, LA, and across the states. And in the morning, speaking of opening day, one of the opening day victims, I just saw him. I'm not going to put him on screen, but if you recall, there was a bearded fella that the police and Scientology's guards accosted. He is heading home with some groceries. They are not Dunkin' Donuts, if you understand the reference, or if you know, you know. But Fat Grammy has, in addition to helping us work through the civilian councils and the public forums, has been showing love to many of the channels and protesters that are out there. So similar to Natalie's channel, you know, hey, what went on in Scientology last night is kind of what I've been seeing the last few days. And thank you very much for that. And the other channel that I love, and I've seen the person as a chat participant in many channels. Antics of a Mama Squirrel has been putting together videos, and they're a riot. The sock puppets are just fun as heck to look at. Thank you, Fat Grammy. The person in white just walked in the org down there. I'll have to go back in the video and look and see where she walked in from. I just don't have a good recollection of her walking past me. We also saw a style audit out here this past weekend, and she was looking very stylish, as per her name. Now, I get that I'm a bully because I make them put their shades down, but let's kind of talk through make them put shades down, right? I expose their cultic behaviors, and in order to hide their cultic behaviors, what do? They pull the shades. So right now, it's that time of day when it's starting to get dark enough inside, dark enough outside, you'd see in. I can see the tall kid whose grandmother was here last month, as well as the guy that came out to try to hand out the flyers. And there's a female at the administrative desk. And I can't see any really, there's no human movement over here by this alley. So no idea where Jessica took her victim. She's like the Black Widow. I've got you up in the air right now because we've got a bunch of civilians walking past. There's something interesting here. I'm not sure what that is, and you can't really see through the window because it's frosted. But it looks like somebody's set something down there. Maybe it's an umbrella sitting on a bench, but I don't remember there being benches there. That might be something. Oh, I know it. I see what it is. It's a shelf. So it's an umbrella sitting on a shelf. And the shelf ledge, right? So just inside the window, there's a ledge. We've got a couple of people coming down the sidewalk, and they've got a rolling briefcase, which feels like what Scientology put their coursework in, but these just don't look like Scientologists. Yeah, and they've walked past. But you can see that she's got the file cabinet on wheels. We've got a couple of curious folks here. I kind of want to pay attention to them.
We're gonna go talk to Sinu.
Nice. Enjoy.
Thank you.
When you come out, I'll give you a card. I think they just want to yank somebody's chain. Again, when somebody goes in knowing Xenu, you know they're not gonna last too long inside there. So as they came in, I'm seeing one of the custodial workers come past, and they've walked up to the administrative desk. So as they did, the administrator reached into, pulled out something from a drawer, something very small. I couldn't see it. Maybe it was business card size. I've just got the other mic ready as well. Let me know if you're hearing an echo, but I brought my other mic out just in case these folks want to talk when they come out. One of our guys is going to, well, he might be going upstairs or downstairs, but he's coming over to the foyer. Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? Did you watch the two children escape from the packed base last night? They had to run scared to a stranger's house. children are smart enough to run away and you're not. I'm guessing Uber or Lyft. How'd the IAS gala go? I saw you guys had a lot of protests over there. Don't worry, Chicago's not the only organization that's failing. All of Scientology is failing. There have been no new members joining Scientology since the grand opening of Chicago. Stats be flat. No more straight up and vertical. Are you still mocking your reactive mind, or have you given that up? Let's see if this is just, oh, it looks like it's just going to be a handoff. Helping support the child trafficking cult of Scientology? Are you supporting the child trafficking or the human trafficking? Yeah. We've got one of our, you're fine. One of the neighbors across the street who kind of gives us info on Imprint is out. He's just having a cigarette break. Don't really want to walk across the street because I don't want to get stuck over there if somebody does come out. Clark Street is it's a pretty busy street. It's one of the fastest ways to get out of the city center if you're going straight south. And then you kind of get down to the, got another Scientologist getting on the phone. Open up inside. Did you see the two children that escaped Scientology at Pac Base last night? Even children know not to go into this cult and to run away. I don't know if you could tell, but the female in the car, when I said, hey, are you here for the human trafficking or the child trafficking? By the way, I mean to say child abuse, but they both come off the same. She kind of just smiled at me. And that's very troubling that that becomes an acceptable way of life, right? Oh, isn't that cute? You've caught us in our crimes and abuses. This person was somebody who when we were at LitFest, they came out to kind of thank us. That's just FedEx going in. Let's see if... So, right, the two kids that we're going to go in and see Xenu, they're sitting right here at this first bank. Pretty chilly out here. Waving to the guy across the street. And again, like I said, he's somebody that's given us a lot of intel on how things are going in the Imprint building. This could be scary. We've got a couple of children coming down the street. I'm gonna put it up in the air unless they head in. Did you see the two children that had to escape Scientology this week in California? They ran away. They had to go find a stranger's help. So yeah, there are children inside there, right? And I'm going to tell you that that child, I am not qualified to make the statement, but observationally, I'll say,
Fun fact.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this or not. That park out of Dearborn,
yeah,
all those businesses with the scarecrows, Scientology owns them. Every one of
nice,
them.
nice.
So,
You know where else they're living now?
like 12 of them.
Yeah.
12 or 15.
No doubt.
Bars, everything.
Yeah, these guys won't let you talk. If you talk bad about Scientology inside there, they'll ask you to leave.
Really?
Yeah,
The owners or what?
the managers.
Really?
Yeah, so.
They pay off.
And I know that you've told me who the other owner is. I know the curly-haired guy, the bigger kid, that's got the curly hair and the mustache or the beard all the time. Yeah.
The other guy's an old man. Goatee. This guy's a white, blue and white, what the hell is it? Toyota or Nissan?
Yeah.
Whatever he parks in front.
Yeah. The other one that I think is, I'm hearing rumors, is that Tatos or Totos, they're very pro Scientology.
So is Roots.
Yeah. And part of it might be the idea that they do spend money, and that they have a lot of money, and if they want to make trouble for you, they can make trouble for you. So, but I wish people wouldn't fall prey to it. Again, if you're going to cater to them as clients, that's fine. If you want to take their money for food, perfectly acceptable. But if you're going to send their propaganda around, I've got a problem with that. And I definitely want to start protesting some of those businesses, saying, "Listen, you're supporting a human trafficking cult, right?"
Well, they got displayed over there. So
Yeah. All right. I didn't notice any. Can you tell? Like, is there anything on them that say Scientology?
no.
That's a, yeah. So it just has the business
they
names,
They started that this year.
Yeah.
They did that last year.
right?
So.
Yep.
And then the rocks that were in front of our building, those big ass boulders, 3 of them were parked in that park that were removed.
Ah,
So the city must have said, get these things out of here.
nice.
But yeah,
I was worried about the dentists because dentists and chiropractors are oftentimes
well,
Scientologists.
it is. It's tied in.
Okay.
Because this pharmacy that's ready to open too.
That's odd. They don't like drugs at all. But that'll be interesting.
Well, if it's a sedative drug, they're going to take it.
Yeah. Nice. I have found 2 other places where they live now, though. So I found 2 other places where they live now. So they still live in your building.
Yeah, they're on the next street over.
Yep. On that corner unit.
Down the street at Ambley.
Yep.
around
Yep.
The corner.
I did see him walk in there the other. That's right. And then there's one on Michigan Avenue, which is like, that's high rent. How in the world are you guys affording
Yes,
this?
they own from the river to Michigan Avenue.
Probably.
From Idaho Wells to Park to Roosevelt.
They tried to.
Family scarf farming. Family scarf farming.
The other day, they tried to do a photo shoot out here, and every time they'd come out, I was able to chase them back in. All right. You have a good night. Sorry, folks. I was just kind of catching up with my friend. So the one thing that he had mentioned is, if you know where the farmers market's at, right? When I'm out here on Saturdays or when the other activists are out here, there's that farmers market that goes on in Printers Row, and there's a bunch of Halloween costumes out there, and like scarecrows, and they have business names on them. And his claim is that Scientology purchased all of those for the people. I really hope that Tony comes back out. I don't. See if I can figure out who he's talking to. So, not sure who this is. So we've got a guy in a ball cap and glasses talking to one of the Scientologists. Oh, he might be. Yeah, he's one of the two that was sitting here. I don't.
I see you all the time.
Yes,
Do you run like a vlog or something?
I do.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
So-
Oh okay.
You guys know, never talk to these people, right?
Right.
Oh, no, I fuck with them.
Good.
Yeah, they're so mean.
Yeah,
Like,
they,
I try to give them a fist bump, dude. They don't even have,
No.
like, basic human decency.
they harassed me. Like one of them called me one time. That's kind of weird.
They're really bad about it. All right.
Have a good one. Have a
You guys
good
take care.
one.
Yep. A couple of college students. So yeah, and by the way, I think that you're even seeing the camera now, that you can kind of see through the shades. You can probably see the vested staff member there. I'll be curious when these guys come out, if they'll talk to me. I want to know what is the Scientologist talking to them about right now. And folks, I do get a little prideful, right? The first kid that just came to interact with me, it's like, hey, I see you out here all the time. It's like, yeah, you're darn right about here all the time. Hey, Spock, how are you?
Yes. And it would work for the season.
Kind of do a quick rundown. So when we got here, we were able to get the blinds down fairly quickly. There were quite a few people in the org, a lot of staff members. I think we saw 2 civilian dressed people. We saw somebody come out, and I was able to engage with them fairly quickly. They had already thrown away the flyer before I got there. They had thrown away the flyer in that dumpster, in the garbage can right there. And then when I went up and talked to them and said, hey, you know, it's a cult, they said, oh, I just went to go to the bathroom. We also engaged a young male, somewhat Latin, at some point, you know, somewhat Latin, it's here. Seemed like he had an accent, a Spanish accent. And he was very like, should I go in, should I not go in? He had been invited, so he was here to see. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. When Jessica was here and asked the boy to come in, she said, are you here to see somebody? And it was a female name. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out who that was, and then maybe I'll be able to match a name to another person here inside of Scientology. Right now, there are 2 kids in here who, before they went in, they said, hey, we want to go find out about Xenu. So they at least know part of the Scientology story, and I think that they were in there to kind of F around with the Scientologists. We did see Jessica. Jessica made an appearance. We've seen a couple of Scientologists come out with flyers, but they never even kind of made it more than a foot out the door and just went back inside. I've been challenging most of the staff members to let them know that, hey, did you hear about the 2 children that escaped Scientology this week? Even children are smart enough to know to run away from this place. Yeah, and so to Stylotta's point, right? They absolutely can put people upstairs. And most of, like, there's the video banks right here. And these video banks are the same thing you'd see at the test center, the same thing we saw when we were at St. Paul, right? You would definitely see all kinds of just media information. It's just blasting the propaganda. There's Skateboard Kid. He does have light green on today. I wonder if he was out doing Way to Happiness. I think the 2 kids are coming out, or the 2 folks that were in there. Good time?
You want this?
Sure, I love it.
I want the thing, but you
Okay,
can have
no
all
problem.
this.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, here.
Nice. Trade you. If you ever want to learn more about him.
Thank you.
Did they? I saw him talking to you. Did he tell you much about the church, or because they're usually not able to tell you stuff about the church?
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So they're very kind of vague about everything, right?
Very vague.
And they did ask you if you wanted to buy a book, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very interesting.
All right. You guys take care. So we have propose. Purpose. Sorry. And then I don't know what this green one is. I'll have to look at that. But right, Scientologists don't tell you anything about the religion. They just tell you to come in and sit down in front of the bank, listen to their stuff. Oh, sorry. What I was saying is that I've heard people talk when you get past this first floor, and again, you kind of have to get past the first floor is a vetting process. But if you are somewhat serious and interested about it, you are going to end up upstairs, and they're going to put you in a smaller room and have a one-on-one conversation with you. It is not auditing at that point in time, but maybe you'll go upstairs to do a personality test. If they pull you in for the personality test, you'll be upstairs doing that. Sorry, folks. Are you here for the child abuse or the human trafficking? So that looked like a public. I did not recognize that person. Let's see if I can get in my backpack real quick and put away the flyers that the two guys brought out. Yep, just had a staff member leave. So it's purpose, open the door to a better you. Which, just to be clear, you will not find a better you. I'm not saying there isn't a better you. I'm saying that Scientology is not going to help you find that better you. And we turn off the second mic. Now, I'm still really hopeful that we're going to see the young man come out again that Jessica was able to pull in. Oh, by the way, I was called a bully today too. I don't. This is a time of night that I really enjoy. So I'm pretty sure you guys can see all the way straight through to the back door here, right? And the same thing over here, right? You can see the young lady sitting at the desk there, then her buddy walking around. There's a bunch of bags that they look like they're carry-out bags on top of the counter where the barista of the cafe is usually at. Thanks for the confirmation, J-Bet. Now, one of the things that's great, boy, I just have fond memories of the days when we would have SRA and Trashy out here, right? The idea that when we can see through here, they can't sneak people out the back door, right? Because we basically have full visibility through there. And again, just so we all know, right? Scientology is empty. So she's talking to the other gentleman, but she's also she's like looking at her nails, and it looks like the 1960s like Bob Newhart's secretary, right, filing her nails, sitting at the administrative desk. And now I've used Ricky Ricardo and Bob Newhart, so nobody is going to recognize those names. Yeah, Anthony, and you know what? It wasn't Kiona. It wasn't Fiona. I think it was Kira. But I'll have to go back and look at that. I'll get better sound off of the. I'll get better sound off of the body camera. The "Where's My Baby" was Monday. Yeah, Monday at lunchtime, and it's near the end of that video. It's the last 5 minutes of that video. You'll see your sweetheart, Mr. Chadwick Olsen, by the way, not to be confused with our friend Chadwick Burke. You can't really see through this one. And I think that part of that is that this is a double, I think there's a double foyer here, well, there's a foyer, there's another set of doors, and those lights are really bright, so they end up making it challenging for us to see in there. Now, I can see all the way back through there. You can see the gentleman that just walked from the back room into the cafeteria. Now, Anthony, right, again, I mentioned to you that he had the 3 crosses tattooed on his neck, which is typically indicative that he's got a Christian background. And he's going to be told, right, that you can be any religion you want to and be in Scientology. Sorry, I'm just letting the neighbors pass by. What time is it? It's 4:45. I'm going to be meeting a friend at 5. So hopefully we're going to see Anthony come back out. She's a liar. By the way, I was replaying the conversation when she said I'm a bully, and my response was, should have been, well, she's a liar, so. And by the way, I do worry about that, right? He's a young male. She is an attractive girl by most standards, right? Is he going to fall prey to, oh, look, this cute girl's paying attention to me, right? One of my, well, I love Bob Newhart's dry sense of humor. But the other one that I used to love were the bits where he would do one half of the phone conversation, right? And you got to infer what the other half of the conversation was. And I just thought that he was so good at that kind of storytelling dialogue, or half dialogue or monologue. Let's see if I can figure out who that. So, oh, it's the female that was here when I first got here. Younger female, dark hair, not necessarily a ponytail, but she does kind of wrap her hair so that it spreads across the back of her shoulders. All right, folks, I think I need to head back over to the train station. I've got to meet a friend. Thank you all for being here tonight. Hopefully we were able to show you some of the things that Scientology tries to hide from us, right? The lies that they tout, right? That I'm a bully. They believe the behavior that I'm portraying is that of a bully. And again, I don't know if they believe it or not, but they like to express it. And that's what they're telling others. We unfortunately did see somebody go in. You know, hopefully he heard the things I said. You know, I would have loved to have had a card ready for him so that he could have taken the card in with him and then looked at it later on. But just, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out the way you need it to. And then we saw several staff members go in. We tried to challenge them with the idea that, oh, that's right, thank you, word clearing. Bridge, I need an assistant. Somebody's got to help me out with all this stuff. We were able to let the staff members know that the children in California had escaped. It's very pretty now. I like when all the lights are out at night. Kind of shows a different part of the perspective of the city. Spock, their ability to discourage me is zero. But I will say that it might discourage others from listening to me, right? And yeah, I think that's more what it is. I will never have my feelings hurt by what a Scientologist says to me, or Scientologist says to me. Not sure if we've got other channels that are live right now. Folks, for those of you who don't know, sbtv.space is absolutely a place where you can go to see who's live at any point in time, but there's also all kinds of other resources there. Yeah, Bridge, it's 100% that, right? I, especially early on, I kind of replay the video in my head, or I'll even watch it and say, oh, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done this. All right. JBAT has found us a room raid. Let's head over to San Francisco and go watch Brain Fog. I am going to go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you all for spending the time with me. I will see you later. Bye-bye.